make your applicant, push the vote. Grab the mic.
Look, I guess where I'm at is and maybe perhaps pursuant to what George is saying, we've got more to come to talk about here tonight. I think that I'd like, as an individual on the board, to work with the builders and the applicants if they've got their shoulders to the wheel doing what is required, versus saying, well, okay, the conditions of the economy are such that I'm going to put this in the back burner and I can save money by not bonding roads or whatever all these other things are. The very fact there are 18 conditions and you've got most of them done, I think is a very credible thing. And I think I also am kind of like Ken, and I think, well, we do represent the taxpayers who are trying to be fair to everybody. And so I think maybe something is in between. I would not like to see this go on forever. I mean, a year now, and then next year another year, and then another year because the economy's flat. I think at some point in time, such that it's a given that we're going to be giving them, because that costs us as well. It costs us relative to what might ultimately be in the new code and the new water protocols and whatnot. And when we passed the law back in March, and there's 5 or 6 applicants, we thought hard and said, you guys have put a lot of money and effort into this to bring it this far along, and it's really, we're going to exempt you from the new code and discussion.
Is that, can you live with the 9 months, or is it something that we're going to go into court about, because these are isolated situations that we negotiated?
I'm here with hat in hand. So.
Okay, all right.
I think, no, in reality, we'd be for the concern would be in 9 months, if they're not ready, or if they didn't see there's going to be additional time, they're back in front of you to extend that. Right. So it's in a way, it's arbitrary. It's a question of what philosophy or conditions you want to review or informational input you want to have, be it at 6 months, 9 months, a year, whatever the case may be. Although I'll be the first one to tell you, and that's all publicly, is that I would watch that March 1 taxable status thing, okay? Because I don't believe government should drive the private sector.
No.
It's not your function to force them to build 29 houses or 2 or whatever. Zoning comes into play. But again, it's their project, it's their investment, it's their money. So with that in mind, you take their input, and it's a question of, like you say, control, information, and input, and being in the loop. So I think they could probably, I'm just talking out loud, I think they could probably live with 9 months, knowing that if they can't, they'll be back for a further extension request.
Okay, so I want to make sure I understand what the motion is about voting on. I'm voting on the phase 1 only.
No, just phase 2.
Phase 1 they're going to build.
Phase 1 is we're going to build
20 lots are being built.
20 lots.
They're talking 9 lots.
No, but the road now for that phase 1, 1 through 20, is going to be built by the end of the summer.
Correct.
Right, the 9 months from now.
But that we're not voting on that. They're going to do that.
We have conditional final approval for phase 1, lots 1 through 20.
Right, Mike?
We have phase 1. We have conditional final approval of phase 1. We're going to go ahead, and the reason why we went through this whole reapproval business was to get that to conditional and do phase 2. We're going to build those this summer and file them out. We had conditional final on.
So we're not doing anything with phase 1 tonight. Phase 2. Phase 2 is a 9-month extension.
Correct. So phase 1, George, we're going to file. We got conditional final approval in August of this year. So we'll have to sometime, I don't know the exact date, but 360 days from then we have to file the map. So sometime in July, that map will be filed. Those 20 tax lots will be created.
They're only asking for an extension on the 9-month
On
lots.
phase 2.
Right. The 9 lots.
Okay. Building a road for 9 lots. That's
right.
The 20 is going to be done. That's
correct.
Right. Okay. What I'm thinking about is on Thursday night, we have a formal resolution on all of this, okay?
Yes.
Are we ready to move off this one to the next one?
It's 9 months.
Nobody said yes.
No, I think you should withdraw it.
I bet you-
Thursday. We got to do it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was
That's right.
moved and seconded, I'm just saying.
I know that.
I'll withdraw the motion. The second. I'll withdraw the motion.
And for
Okay.
purposes of discussion, I assume that the affirmative resolution you want on Thursday would be the 9 months.
That's correct.
Right. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, you need a third. You only got 2 people that said yes.
No, actually, it's not.
I'm just letting you know. I want it to be on record, so this way nobody can say anything wrong.
Okay, let's start down with Phil then. Phil?
What's the question?
The question is,
On
on Thursday night, the resolution
If they can
9,
live
okay?
with 9 months, I can live with 9 months.
Okay.
I think it's, for discussion purposes, I think we're just spinning our wheels.
Right, okay,
We'll move on.
okay. But the answer to that is...
I said they can live with it, I can.
No, I'm talking about the 9 months.
9 months.
That is, coming back to us, is to keep us in the loop more than we have been. Nothing more, nothing less. It's, you know, and I think because it's the first time
It'll
we've been
get us
at...
more versed.
Okay, George?
Yeah, I
Okay.
second the motion, so I'm very much.
Me too.
No problem.
Okay, very good. All right, now we're ready for the next one.
Thanks.
Okay.
2006. Subsequently, they requested and received conditional final approval for 6 lots of the entire subdivision, thereby leaving 12 lots which have not received conditional final approval, as required by local law number 3. This split of the process, just so you're aware, this is at the applicant's request. They requested that they get final approval for 6 and leave the other 12 as conditional preliminary.
And that was August 17, 2006?
The conditional final was just this past meeting on January 7th.
Okay, very good. All right.
Okay, as Neil stated, you know, when we initially made application to the planning board, it was a 20-lot subdivision. So, made the application again in 2004, the conservation findings were filed in April 2005, and it yielded a base density of 27 units. This is in the AQ3 overlay. And then we received preliminary approval in August of 2006. From then, you know, we were preparing, the applicant was preparing the submission to the health department. We have DPW, Orange County Health Department. And then it got kind of caught up in the moratorium. It was 20 lots or more. They were reluctant to really move ahead too quickly to see until they saw what was going on. We received the exemption from, you know, based on what was identified in the FEIS back in January, I believe in 2008, or January 2009. They went ahead and sort of finishing up the resubmission to the health department. A couple of the lots were alternative systems where they had to bring in some fill for the septic system, so that takes a little time and money. That was done. Received health department approval, and then came back to the planning board for their final review. At that time, the applicant elected to lose 2 lots during that process, just because of perks and timing and everything else. So it's now an 18-lot subdivision. There's, let's see, 18-lot subdivision, and we were back before the planning board. And again, this is one of those that has, it's 18 lots. 6 of them are right off the crossroad, right at the intersection of Crossroad and Pulaski Highway. We'd like to file that first because there are no improvements for those 2 phases. And again, there's 3 phases in this project. And then the other phase 2 and phase 3 are small cul-de-sacs off of Pulaski Highway. And they, again, as opposed to having to build and bond them or bond those, you know, within 360 days, they again would like to get an exemption for phases 2 and 3. So they would file phase 1 immediately upon meeting the conditions of that approval, and then seek hopefully another extension for the exemption for phases 2 and 3, and come back and get conditional final of those the following year.
How many units are in each unit, each phase?
It's 18, 6, there's 6 in the phase 1, and then there's 12 remaining, and I think it's 6 and 6.
So they're all 6s?
Yeah.
No, they're 27 altogether.
No, that's what they were entitled to based on the conservation.
No, it's not the project 18.
Yeah, it's 18.
Okay.
It was always,
It's got approval.
Now, why are they being so benevolent there to go from 27 to 18?
well, because the original one was, we did several, I mean, we got through this whole sketch plan thing. The planning board went out there a couple of times. You know, there's